Hey everyone, welcome back to another video here. So in today's kind of quick presentation here, I'm just going to go over the idea of forecasting revenue and profits using paid media. I mean paid media in the sense of doing advertising on the likes of social media channels like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, even Google's network too, and sort of lifetime value as well, and how you can kind of use a calculator that I'm going to show you now in a slide or two to basically forecast, things like if you spend X amount of money and you make a return of X, this is the sort of revenue you can make, but then you got to take into your account like the actual profit margins that are made on that, because there's cost of goods sold that has to come into play there. And then of course, with customer acquisition, then there's obviously a lifetime value where you're not just going to sell them one product, or at least you don't want to. And in the grand scheme of things, you want to be sort of getting them to sort of repeat purchase, whether that's through subscription or you're using other channels such as email or other kind of marketing channels, basically to get people to purchase again and again and build out that lifetime value. So let's just dive right in. So just before we land on the calculator here, I just want to go over some results we're currently experiencing right now for a particular brand that we're working with. You can see here we're in our business manager here at Byrne Media, and these are the dates here that I have the range for. So big figures, considering the date range, which is like well over a year. This is a brand that hasn't spent too much, but this is a brand that we've sort of worked with post-COVID, where things were a little messy financially for them and everything else that went with it. But they were just looking for sort of steady growth. But you can see here that we generated 289,199 in this period, okay, which is up here. And of course, we've spent, should I say, £103,005 to generate this revenue. So it's a return on ad spend of 2.81. So customer acquisition, you always want to be looking at the idea of what sort of ad spend you're spending, and then the revenue generated, what the sort of actual return is on that. So once you acquire customers profitably, which we are doing here in this case, it is then time to nurture those customers on your customer database on email, for example, to build out sort of lifetime value. So let's dive into the calculator and take a look at how we can break these figures down and forecast, revenue, profits, lifetime value, that kind of thing. Okay, so here we are in the calculator. This is a calculator we could use to forecast revenue, profits, when you're buying traffic and you're buying traffic that converts, and then sort of building out lifetime value as well. So we have it broken down into month 1, month 2, month 3 here, just for example, just to give you some run through some figures here. In the yellow fields here, the values, you input values here, and the data changes here, and it forecasts like, things like your cost per acquisition, the amount of customers you'll get based on, your ad spend, your return on ad spend, of course, as well, your profit margins, that kind of thing. So let's just look at sort of the idea of month 1. So, for example, let's say you've a brand, you've got good product market fit, you're generating sales already, things are healthy, and you want to start pumping some money into advertising. Okay, so you got everything set up, and you kick things off, and you decide that you're going to spend 8,000, okay, on your advertising. So you, in fact, get an end result that month of a 2 ROAS. So 8,000 in, you double that, you make 16, okay, and your gross margins are 60%. So this is your margins after cost of goods sold, shipping and handling, that kind of thing. So what happens here is you 2x this ad spend, you get 16,000. The cost of fulfilling those products out, cost of goods sold, shipping, handling, and thing comes to 6,400. So if you add 8,000, your ad spend of 8,000 plus the costs to fulfill those products out, okay, you're left with a margin, or sorry, not a margin, but a profit of this figure here, 1600. Okay, so it's this that you bring in minus the costs here. Okay, and this is your 1 day profit. Okay, so let's say, for example, your average order value, it's 60. That means that your CPA is 30. Okay, and the actual customers that you acquire is in fact 267 from that ad spend. Okay, so let's say, for example, you know your lifetime value as well over a 12-month period, and we'll just say it is 250. So what that actually equates to is, over time, these customers here that spend on average this amount is going to equate to this revenue. And based on the fact that you have 60% profit after cost of goods sold, this is the sort of figure that you end up finishing up with in terms of profit. Okay, so that's month one. Let's say, for example, you're happy with those results. You're going to spend a little more in terms of ad spend, and maybe you are riding a kind of an industry trend or a season where there's a lot of buzz around your product. So you decide to sort of spend a little bit more money this month. So it's going to be 10,000, and the fact that you're doing a little better job now with maybe the creatives and how your sales funnel is going, you've maybe the ad account is being nurtured a little bit better as well. The Facebook is starting to acquire more data and is having a better understanding of who your actual customer is. All those little factors that come into play, you actually make a return on ad spend of 2.5. So you put in 10,000 and you actually return 25. Okay, so at the same time though, so you have to sort of factor in the costs here. So your cogs here in this situation are it comes to 10 grand, and if you add up 10 grand, 10 grand here with the ad spend minus the with the revenue here, it's actually you hit a 1 day profit of 5k. Okay, and let's say, for example, because you hit like a kind of a season where there's more demand and you've got like maybe a really good offer, you managed to sort of bump up the average order value to 70. Now your CPA is 28. Okay, so you've reduced that, you've increased the AOV, but you've actually reduced the CPA because of all these metrics in place. And your customers acquired now is actually 357. So over a 12-month period, if these customers spend on average this figure here, which is 250, now you're hitting larger revenue figures after 12 months, which is 89,286, and that is a profit there on your gross margins here of now 53,571. So month three again, things are going great. You decide to pump a little bit more money in. And by the way, these are just random, like this is just me telling a story about how these figures work out, right? So month three, for example, you decide to pump in a couple of more grand. So now it's 12,000, and you've again improved everything in the sales funnel. The metrics are doing better, and you start to hit around the 3 ROAS, okay, which is doing pretty well now. So again, if you just look at these figures here, again, your profit margin or the gross margins here are 60%. So 3 times 12 grand is a total of 36, and your total costs here to fulfill those orders are 14,400. So you're left now with a 1 day profit of 9,600. Okay, and again, you've managed to sort of bump up the average order value. You've learned a lot from the previous month or previous months, and you decide that your average order value could be bumped up a little. Maybe you've increased the value. You've maybe created a bundle. You've created certain conversion triggers in the sales process where people decide to add more to the cart. Essentially, okay. You bought customer, like you could say, well, if you're buying this, you could also buy this, this, and this to actually enhance the actual customer experience. So by doing those things, you can actually bump up the average order value. And of course, you were successful in that by another $5. So now your average order value is 75, and your CPA based on these metrics is actually reduced by a few dollars, and now it's at 25. And your customers acquired based on your ad spend and again these metrics in place, you've actually managed to acquire 480 customers in this particular month. Okay, so doing pretty good. And again, over a 12-month period, you've got these customers on your email database. They're segmented into your customer segmentation, and you start emailing them over the months that follow, and you're offering them more value. Okay, you're educating them more about your products, and you're also giving them offers as well to purchase other things that are going to enhance the actual desired outcome that they're looking for. So as we've said in the previous months here, again, the figure of 250, which is the average that somebody would spend with you over the lifetime, over a 12-month period, for example. So now you're looking at these customers here spending this amount, and now you're at 120, and of course your profit on that, based on this figure up here, is now 72,000. Okay, so I hope that makes sense, guys. I hope you can sort of get value out of this, but this is more or less how we sort of forecast things out for clients. Alrighty, so that sort of concludes this quick presentation today. I hope it was helpful. I hope it sort of give you an understanding of, in terms of the calculator, how you sort of forecast, your revenue, your profits, taking into account all the sort of costs involved in terms of ad spend, your cost of goods sold, that kind of good stuff, and how you can sort of generate profit, on day one when you're advertising, or certainly for your first time kind of customer acquisition, but how that's sort of built out over time in a 12-month period when you take into account lifetime value. So that's it. If you need help with your customer acquisition and your customer retention, you need a partner who can help you with this, by all means, this is something that we can do for your e-commerce brand. We are currently sort of running an offer right now at the moment where we're basically guaranteeing an increase in your ad results in 7 days before you pay. So we work for free for 7 days just to show the sort of impact that we can make in your ad account. And when we hit the goal of that, which is usually like an increase in the ROAS, sales, that kind of thing, within a 7-day period, we would get to sort of continue on working with you because we can show our value without you actually having to pay for it. Okay. But in order for us to be able to guarantee that, we need to sort of have a study of your actual brand and its performance and see if we can actually genuinely make a difference to your business. So with that in mind, if that sounds good to you, by all means, book in a call there at the Calendly link for about 15 minutes. It's just a discovery call. It'll either be myself or one of the team here at Byrne Media that will have a quick chat with you and just kind of get to know, what's happening now with the business, where you want to take it, what sort of investment levels you have, how the performance of the brand is working so far in terms of AOV, what's your conversion rate like, have you a good proof of concept already, what channels are you using already to market, all that kind of good stuff, just to get an understanding and see then if we can make an impact. So that's it, guys. Thanks for your attention today. I hope it was value. See you in the next video.